Just rested, not just okay, but genuinely energized, clear-headed, with warm hands and feet, with legs that felt light, with a heart that felt steady and strong. If you have to think back years to remember that feeling, then what you're about to hear may be one of the most important things you've ever listened to. Because what I'm going to share today has nothing to do with expensive medications, nothing to do with complicated treatments, and absolutely nothing to do with suffering through another boring diet. It has everything to do with something you do every single day, multiple times a day. Something you've been doing your whole life, drinking water. But here's the thing. After the age of 60, plain water may not be enough. In fact, for millions of older adults, plain water is barely doing its job at all. And not knowing this one hidden truth is silently affecting your circulation, your energy, your brain, your joints, and even your heart. Right now, as you watch this, stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal a simple one-ingredient trick, something you can add to your water today, that has been shown to dramatically improve blood flow in aging adults. And once you understand why your body needs this after 60, you will never look at a plain glass of water the same way again. Let's start with something most people get completely wrong. When older adults feel tired, cold, foggy, or slow, they almost always blame age. They say, "Well, I'm getting older. This is just how it is." They accept the fatigue. They accept the stiff legs. They accept the cold fingers and toes. They accept waking up at 3 in the morning, feeling like their body is fighting against them. And here's what's heartbreaking about that. None of those things are inevitable. They're symptoms, and symptoms have causes, and causes can be addressed. The most common thing doctors tell their patients after 60 is to drink more water, and that's good advice, up to a point. But what almost no one explains is that after 60, your relationship with water changes completely. The way your body uses water changes, the way water moves through your blood and cells changes, and simply drinking more plain water doesn't fix what's actually broken. Here's what most people don't realize. The real problem isn't just dehydration. It's something called impaired cellular hydration combined with reduced blood viscosity regulation. That's a fancy way of saying your blood gets thicker and stickier as you age. Your blood vessels become less flexible, and your cells stop absorbing water the way they once did. And when that happens, when your blood becomes sluggish and your circulation slows, everything suffers. Your heart has to work harder. Your brain gets less oxygen. Your muscles get less fuel. Your kidneys struggle. Your joints dry out. Your skin thins. Your digestion slows. Your sleep worsens. It creates a cascade, a domino effect inside the body that most people blame on just getting old. But the real problem starts long before anyone notices it, and it starts with blood flow. Here's the hidden mechanism most doctors never explain in a 10-minute appointment. Your cardiovascular system, your heart, your arteries, your veins, your tiny capillaries, is essentially a delivery network. It delivers oxygen and nutrients to every single cell in your body, and it carries waste away. When you're young, this network is flexible, fast, and efficient. Your blood is relatively thin. Your vessels expand and contract easily. Your cells are hydrated from the inside out. But here's where the hidden damage begins. After the age of 50, and especially after 60, several things happen at the same time. First, your blood vessels start to lose elasticity. The walls of your arteries become stiffer. They can't expand and contract as freely as they once did. This makes it harder for blood to move smoothly, especially to your extremities, your hands, your feet, your toes, and fingers. Second, your blood itself starts to change. It becomes more viscous, thicker, stickier. Think of the difference between fresh olive oil and oil that's been sitting in a pan too long. One flows easily, the other drags. After 60, many people's blood is closer to that second description, and they don't even know it. Third, something called endothelial function declines. The endothelium is the thin lining inside all your blood vessels. It produces a gas called nitric oxide, and nitric oxide is your body's natural blood vessel relaxer. It signals your vessels to open up, to widen, to let blood flow freely. When you're young, your body makes plenty of it. But after 60, nitric oxide production drops significantly. And when that happens, vessels stay narrower than they should. Blood flow slows. Pressure rises. And fourth, here's the part nobody talks about. Your kidneys become less efficient at regulating fluid balance. So even when you drink plenty of water, a larger percentage of it passes right through you without properly hydrating your blood or your tissues. So you drink your 8 glasses a day. You think you're doing everything right, but your cells are still thirsty. Your blood is still sluggish. Your circulation is still suffering. That's not a failure of willpower, that's biology, and biology can be worked with. Now let me tell you something that changed how researchers think about hydration in aging adults. For a long time, scientists believed that water was water. You drank it, it went in, it hydrated you. Simple. End of story. But then researchers started looking more carefully at how the body actually absorbs and uses water at the cellular level. And what they found was surprising. Water doesn't just flow freely into your cells. It enters through specialized channels called aquaporins, tiny protein structures embedded in your cell walls. These channels act like gates. They open, water passes through, and your cells stay hydrated at the deepest level. Here's what's fascinating. The efficiency of these aquaporins, how well they open, how quickly they work, is influenced by the mineral content of the water you drink. Specifically, the presence of certain electrolytes and trace minerals. When water contains the right balance of minerals, particularly sodium, potassium, magnesium, and trace amounts of others, your cells absorb it far more effectively. The water gets inside faster, it stays longer, it moves more efficiently through your tissues and your blood. But when you drink plain water, especially filtered water, which has had many of these minerals removed, the absorption is slower and less complete, especially in an aging body that's already struggling with reduced cellular efficiency. Think of it this way. Imagine trying to water a very dry, hard patch of soil. If you pour plain water on it, the water runs off. It doesn't sink in. The soil stays dry underneath. But if you add something to soften the surface first, to open it up, the water soaks in deeply and does what it's supposed to do. Your cells after 60 are like that dry soil. And the trick is knowing what to add to your water to help it actually get inside, into your blood, your vessels, and your cells, where it can do real work. And that brings us to the single most powerful thing you can add to your water after 60. Before I tell you what it is, let me tell you about someone named Margaret. Margaret was 67 years old and she was exhausted. Not the kind of tired that goes away after a good night's sleep. The kind of tired that lives in your bones. The kind where you wake up and already feel like you've been running all day. Her hands and feet were always cold, even in the summer. She'd wear socks to bed. She'd hold her coffee mug not to enjoy the taste, but just to feel the warmth in her fingers. Her legs were heavy. Not painful exactly, just heavy. Like someone had wrapped weights around them. Walking upstairs left her winded in a way that embarrassed her. She used to love gardening. Now she could only manage 20 minutes before she needed to sit down. Her doctor ran tests. Everything came back in the normal range. She was told she was fine. She was told to drink more water, maybe try some light exercise, maybe take a multivitamin. She did all of that. Nothing changed. What changed things for Margaret wasn't a prescription. It wasn't a procedure. It was a conversation with a neighbor, a retired nurse, who asked her a simple question. What do you put in your water? Margaret thought that was an odd question. Nothing, she said. It's water. And the nurse smiled and said, that might be the problem. What the nurse shared with Margaret was something that has been understood in sports medicine and nutrition for decades, but has only recently been studied specifically in aging adults. She told Margaret to add a small pinch of high-quality mineral salt to her water every morning, not regular table salt, something unprocessed, something that still contains its natural trace minerals. Margaret was skeptical, but she tried it. Within 3 days, she noticed something odd. Her hands felt warmer in the morning. She thought it was coincidence. Within a week, the heaviness in her legs had noticeably reduced. Within 2 weeks, she was back in the garden for an hour and feeling fine. Now, Margaret's story doesn't mean this works the same way for everyone. Every body is different, and we're going to talk about the science and the precautions. But her experience reflects what many older adults discover when they address their body's real mineral and hydration needs. So what is this one trick? It's adding a small amount of mineral-rich salt, specifically unrefined sea salt or Himalayan pink salt, to your water and combining it with a small squeeze of fresh lemon juice. Just a tiny pinch of salt, a quarter teaspoon or less, and the juice of about a quarter of a lemon mixed into a large glass of room-temperature water, drunk first thing in the morning before anything else. This combination, often called a natural electrolyte drink or a mineral water wake-up, does several things at once that plain water simply cannot. First, the minerals in unrefined salt, sodium, potassium, magnesium, calcium, and dozens of trace elements, prime your cells to absorb water more efficiently. Remember those aquaporin channels we talked about? The mineral content helps activate them. Your cells become like that softened soil, ready to absorb deeply. Second, sodium is directly involved in blood volume regulation. When you're even mildly low in sodium, which many older adults are, especially those who eat low-sodium diets, your blood volume actually decreases slightly. Less blood volume means less blood flow. Less blood flow means less oxygen to your muscles, your brain, your organs. Restoring the right level of sodium helps normalize blood volume and supports better circulation. Third, lemon juice contains compounds, particularly vitamin C and bioflavonoids, that support the health of your blood vessel walls. Vitamin C is one of the most studied nutrients for endothelial health. It supports the production of nitric oxide, that natural blood vessel relaxer we talked about earlier, and it helps protect the collagen structure of your vessel walls, keeping them more flexible and responsive. Fourth, this combination kickstarts your kidneys and your lymphatic system first thing in the morning, helping clear overnight waste products and supporting better fluid circulation throughout the day. And fifth, perhaps the most underappreciated effect, this morning drink triggers what researchers call the oral gastric reflex. The moment warm water with minerals touches your stomach lining, it sends a signal to your entire cardiovascular system to begin increasing blood flow to your digestive organs. This creates a gentle but measurable whole-body circulation boost that you can actually feel, a warmth that spreads from your core outward. That warmth you feel isn't a placebo. It's real. It's blood moving. Now, here's what most people don't realize about why this matters so much specifically after 60. It's not just about salt and lemon, it's about the entire ecosystem of your aging cardiovascular system and how profoundly it responds to even small, consistent inputs. Let's talk about what happens in your blood vessels after 60 that makes this so important. Your arteries have 3 layers. The innermost layer, the intima, is lined with that endothelium we mentioned. When you're young, it's smooth and clean. Blood glides through it. But decades of oxidative stress, low-grade inflammation, fluctuating blood sugar, and poor hydration create micro-damage on that inner surface. The lining becomes rougher, stickier. Blood cells, platelets, and fatty particles begin to adhere to these rough spots. This is the beginning of what cardiologists call endothelial dysfunction. And it's happening, quietly, invisibly, in the bodies of the vast majority of people over 60. Here's why this matters for circulation. When your endothelium is damaged or inflamed, it releases less nitric oxide. Less nitric oxide means your vessels stay constricted, narrower than they should be. Your blood pressure rises, your heart has to push harder, and blood flow to your smaller vessels, the capillaries that feed your brain, your fingertips, your kidneys, your eyes, slows dramatically. This is why so many older adults have cold extremities. Their main arteries may be working reasonably well, but the microcirculation, the tiny network of capillaries, is sluggish and struggling. And here's something truly remarkable. Vitamin C, the vitamin in your lemon juice, is one of the most powerful natural compounds for restoring endothelial function. Multiple research reviews have found consistent links between adequate vitamin C intake and improved nitric oxide availability in aging adults. This is not speculation. This is one of the most replicated findings in cardiovascular nutrition. When you combine that with properly mineralized water that actually hydrates your blood and tissues, the effect is synergistic, greater than the sum of its parts. But let's go deeper, because blood flow isn't just about your arteries and veins. It's about something that very few people over 60 ever think about: your fascia. Fascia is the thin, web-like connective tissue that wraps around every muscle, every organ, every nerve, and every blood vessel in your body. It's everywhere. And for most of human history, scientists largely ignored it. But in the last 20 years, fascia research has exploded, and what researchers have discovered is startling. Fascia contains its own fluid network. It holds water, a special bound water that serves as a lubricant and a signal conductor. When fascia is properly hydrated, it slides smoothly. Blood vessels within it have room to expand. Nerves conduct signals cleanly. Movement is easy. But when fascia is dehydrated, which happens gradually over decades and accelerates after 60, it becomes stiff, sticky, and restrictive. It tightens around blood vessels, reducing their ability to dilate. It compresses nerves. It limits the range of motion of joints. And here's the cruel irony. Plain water doesn't easily penetrate dehydrated fascia. It requires minerals, electrolytes, to pull water into fascial tissue effectively, which is exactly why so many older adults who drink plenty of plain water still feel stiff, still have restricted movement, still have cold extremities and fatigue. Their fascia is dehydrated at the structural level, and plain water isn't reaching it. The mineral salt-lemon combination addresses this. The electrolytes act as a carrier, pulling water deep into connective tissue, rehydrating fascia, and slowly restoring its natural flexibility and fluid conductivity. This is why many people who start this morning routine report that their stiffness improves first, before they notice energy changes or circulation changes. The fascia responds relatively quickly to proper mineral hydration, and as the fascia softens, blood vessels within it have more room to function. Circulation improves from the inside out. Let's also talk about what happens to your kidneys and your blood in the hours after you wake up, because this is where the timing of this trick matters enormously. While you sleep, your body does not drink. For 7 to 9 hours, or however long you're asleep, you're in a state of relative dehydration. Your blood concentrates slightly. Your kidneys, working hard overnight to process metabolic waste, pull fluid from your tissues. By morning, your blood is measurably thicker than it was when you went to sleep. Thicker blood moves more slowly. It creates more friction inside your vessels. Your heart has to work harder to push it through. And your brain, which is the organ most sensitive to circulation, wakes up in a state of mild oxygen insufficiency. This is why so many older adults feel foggy, heavy, slow, and disoriented in the first hour after waking. It's not just not being a morning person. It's the physiological consequence of overnight blood thickening and reduced morning circulation. And here's what makes plain water a poor solution to this problem. When you drink plain water on an empty stomach, your kidneys process it relatively quickly, especially if your sodium levels are low. Much of it passes through as urine before it has a chance to rehydrate your blood and tissues properly. But mineralized water, water with that small amount of unrefined salt, behaves differently. The sodium signals your kidneys to retain more of the fluid. It draws water into your bloodstream rather than flushing it through. Your blood volume rises more effectively. Your blood thins, flow improves, and within 30 to 40 minutes, your brain and your extremities are receiving meaningfully better circulation than they would have from plain water alone. This is why this trick has to happen in the morning. This is when your body needs it most. This is when the effect is most powerful. Now, let me give you a simple at-home sign that tells you whether your circulation is already struggling. It's called the capillary refill test, and you can do it right now, wherever you are. Hold your hand at heart level. Press firmly on your thumbnail with your other thumb. Hold for 5 seconds, then release. When you release, your thumbnail will briefly turn white. That's normal. You've pushed the blood out. Then watch how quickly the pink color returns. In a healthy adult with good circulation, the pink color returns fully within 2 seconds. 2 seconds or less. If it takes 3, 4, or 5 seconds for the color to come back, or if your nail looks pale or bluish to begin with, that's a sign that your peripheral circulation is struggling. That capillary refill time is a simple, recognized marker of circulatory health that doctors use in clinical settings. You can also check your feet. Sit comfortably and look at your toenails and the skin between your toes. If the skin looks pale, purple-tinged, or feels cooler to the touch than the skin higher on your leg, that's another sign that blood isn't reaching your extremities efficiently. And here's one more. Press the back of your hand flat on a table. Lift it. If the veins on the back of your hand take more than 3 to 4 seconds to fill back up after you lift your hand, your blood volume may be lower than optimal. None of these tests are diagnostic tools. They won't tell you everything, but they give you a real-time window into what your circulation is doing, and they give you a baseline to compare against after you begin the morning mineral water routine. So, let's talk practically. Let's talk about how to actually do this correctly, consistently, and safely. Here is the simple morning protocol. When you wake up, before coffee, before food, before anything else, take a large glass of water. Room temperature or slightly warm is better than cold. Cold water actually causes blood vessels to constrict, the opposite of what we want. Into that glass, add 1 small pinch of unrefined sea salt or Himalayan pink salt, not table salt. Regular table salt has been processed to remove most of its trace minerals and often contains additives. You want something unprocessed, the kind that still has its natural color and mineral content intact. The amount should be small. You should barely be able to taste it, just a pinch. For most people, this is somewhere between a 1/16 and an 1/8 of a teaspoon. Then squeeze in the juice of a 1/4 of a fresh lemon. If you don't have fresh lemon, you can use a small amount of bottled lemon juice, but fresh is better because the bioflavonoids in fresh lemon juice are more bioavailable. Stir it gently. Drink it slowly over 5 to 10 minutes. Don't gulp it. Let your body receive it. That's it. That's the morning drink. Now, For maximum effect throughout the day, there are a few additional habits that work powerfully alongside this morning routine. Throughout the day, aim to keep your water lightly mineralized. You don't need to add salt to every glass, but consider switching from heavily filtered or distilled water, which has almost no mineral content, to a naturally mineralized spring water. Read the label. Look for a brand that shows measurable levels of calcium, magnesium, and bicarbonate. These minerals support your blood pH, your vessel health, and your cellular hydration on an ongoing basis. Additionally, if you enjoy herbal teas, particularly hibiscus tea, ginger tea, or green tea, these are excellent companions to the morning mineral water protocol. Hibiscus contains compounds that support healthy blood pressure and vessel elasticity. Ginger is one of the most well-studied natural circulation boosters, improving blood flow through multiple mechanisms. Green tea contains L-theanine and catechins that support nitric oxide production and endothelial health. Drink these without sugar if possible, or with a very small amount of raw honey if you need sweetness. Avoid artificial sweeteners, which some research suggests may negatively impact gut bacteria linked to cardiovascular health. Now let's talk about food, because what you eat directly affects the quality of your circulation, and there are a few foods that work hand in hand with this hydration protocol to produce remarkable results. Beets and beet juice are perhaps the most studied natural foods for blood flow. They contain high concentrations of dietary nitrates, which your body converts to nitric oxide. Eating beets 3 to 4 times per week, or drinking a small glass of pure beet juice in the morning alongside your mineral water can produce measurable improvements in circulation and exercise endurance in older adults. Dark leafy greens, spinach, arugula, kale, are also high in dietary nitrates and contain magnesium, which is critical for blood vessel relaxation and heart rhythm regulation. Many older adults are chronically low in magnesium without knowing it. Pomegranate, either the fruit or unsweetened juice, contains a compound called punicolagon, which is among the most potent known promoters of endothelial health. Studies in aging adults have found consistent associations between pomegranate consumption and improvements in arterial flexibility and blood flow. Fatty fish, salmon, mackerel, sardines, provide omega-3 fatty acids that reduce blood viscosity, lower inflammation, and support vessel wall flexibility. If you don't enjoy fish, a high-quality fish oil supplement can provide similar benefits, and perhaps the most overlooked circulation food is dark chocolate. Real dark chocolate, 70% cacao or higher, contains flavanols that directly stimulate nitric oxide production in the endothelium. A small square of dark chocolate daily is one of the most pleasurable cardiovascular health habits an older adult can adopt. Now let's talk about movement. Because hydration and nutrition work best when combined with gentle, consistent physical activity that stimulates blood flow directly. You don't need to run marathons. You don't need a gym membership. You need to move your body in ways that specifically pump blood through your circulatory system. Walking remains the single most powerful everyday activity for circulation in older adults. Not power walking, not race walking, just a steady, comfortable walk, ideally for 30 minutes, ideally after a meal. Post-meal walking has been shown repeatedly to improve blood flow to the digestive system, reduce blood sugar spikes, and support overall circulatory health. If walking is difficult due to joint pain, consider water walking. Walking in a pool. The hydrostatic pressure of water around your legs acts like a gentle compression pump, encouraging blood to move upward from your legs toward your heart. Ankle pumping is a simple exercise that most older adults never do, and it's remarkable for circulation. While sitting or lying down, simply flex and point your feet repeatedly for 1 to 2 minutes. This activates the calf muscle pump. Your calves act as a second heart, squeezing blood in your leg veins back upward. Doing ankle pumps in the morning before you get out of bed can meaningfully improve your first step circulation. Deep diaphragmatic breathing, belly breathing, is another overlooked circulation tool. When you breathe deeply into your belly, your diaphragm descends and creates a pressure change that literally pulls blood back toward your heart. 3 to 5 minutes of slow, deep belly breathing in the morning, combined with your mineral water, creates a powerful cardiovascular wake-up that you'll feel clearly. And for those with the balance and joint health to do so, gentle yoga poses, particularly legs up the wall, where you lie on your back with your legs elevated vertically against a wall. Use gravity to drain stagnant blood from the legs and feet back into central circulation. 10 minutes in this position can dramatically relieve leg heaviness and coldness. Let's also address sleep, because overnight circulation is something almost no one thinks about. During sleep, your body directs blood flow primarily to your organs for repair and regeneration. Your growth hormone is released. Your immune system is most active. Your brain clears metabolic waste through a recently discovered system called the glymphatic system, which is essentially a cerebrospinal fluid circulation pathway that only fully activates during deep sleep. For all of this to work properly, your body needs to be adequately hydrated and mineralized when you go to sleep. Here's a small evening protocol that works beautifully alongside the morning routine. About an hour before bed, drink a small glass of warm water, about 6 to 8 ounces, with a very small pinch of magnesium-rich mineral salt. Magnesium specifically has been shown to support deeper sleep, reduce nighttime leg cramps, and improve overnight blood pressure regulation. You can also add a small amount of tart cherry juice to your evening water. Tart cherry contains natural melatonin precursors and anti-inflammatory compounds that support sleep quality and reduce the overnight inflammation that contributes to morning stiffness. Sleep on your back or your side, not your stomach, to keep your spine neutral and your major blood vessels uncompressed. Use a pillow that keeps your neck in neutral alignment, reducing the chance of compressed arteries in the neck that can restrict blood flow to the brain during sleep. Elevating the foot of your bed by just 1 to 2 inches, placing small risers under the bedposts at the foot end, uses gentle gravity to encourage blood flow from your legs toward your core during sleep. Many older adults with leg circulation issues find this small change produces noticeable overnight relief. Now let's talk about the timeline of improvement, because I want you to have realistic expectations, not false promises, but honest hope. In the first 2 to 3 days after beginning the morning mineral water routine, most people notice one of two things first. Either an improvement in morning mental clarity, that foggy, slow feeling upon waking begins to lift, or they notice warmth. Their hands and feet feel warmer in the morning. These are both signs of improved morning circulation. In the first week, many people report less leg heaviness, especially in the afternoons. They find that they have more energy in the morning and don't crash as hard in the early afternoon. Their thirst mechanism may become sharper, which is actually a good sign, because aging blunts the thirst response, and restoring it means your hydration is improving. In the second and third week, people often report less stiffness upon waking. That first steps morning shuffle that so many older adults experience, walking like their feet are made of wood for the first 10 minutes, begins to shorten. Some people find they're sleeping more deeply and waking less often during the night. By the end of the first month, when the routine is consistent, many people report a general sense of feeling more alive, more connected to their body, less cold, less foggy, more willing to be active. What's happening physiologically during this period? Your blood is better hydrated and slightly less viscous. Your endothelium is receiving consistent vitamin C support. Your fascia is gradually rehydrating. Your kidneys are better regulating fluid balance. Your morning cortisol and circulation wake-up is happening more efficiently. By 2 to 3 months of consistent practice, people who also incorporate the dietary changes, the beets, the leafy greens, the dark chocolate, the fatty fish, often report measurable changes in blood pressure, in exercise capacity, in the capillary refill test we discussed. Some people's doctors comment on improvements in their blood work. These are not miracle results. They are the natural, biological response of a body that's finally being given what it genuinely needs. Now I need to be honest with you, because honest information is the only kind worth sharing. This morning mineral water routine is not a treatment for any medical condition. If you have high blood pressure, heart disease, kidney disease, or any condition where your doctor has specifically advised you to limit sodium intake, you must speak with your doctor before making any changes to your hydration routine. People on certain blood pressure medications, diuretics, or medications for heart failure have special fluid and electrolyte needs that must be managed medically. If you have advanced kidney disease, your kidneys may not process minerals efficiently, and adding salt to your water without medical guidance could create problems. If you experience chest pain, severe shortness of breath, sudden weakness or numbness, or any symptom that concerns you seriously, please do not look to a YouTube video for answers. See a doctor immediately. These could be signs of conditions that require urgent medical attention. This protocol is for generally healthy older adults looking to support their circulation and vitality through better hydration practices. It is educational, it is based on sound nutritional and physiological principles, but it is not personalized medical advice, and it is not a substitute for professional care. With that said, for the vast majority of healthy adults over 60, a small pinch of unrefined mineral salt and fresh lemon juice in morning water is not only safe, but a genuinely supportive practice for circulation and overall wellness. Let me leave you with one final thought. There is a tendency in modern medicine to treat aging as a one-way door, to accept every symptom as permanent, to medicate every problem and stop asking why it started. But your body is not simply declining. Your body is adapting. It's responding every day, every hour, to the inputs you give it, to the water you drink, the food you eat, the movement you make, the sleep you take. The cold hands and feet are not your destiny. The morning fog is not your identity. The heavy legs, the fatigue, the stiffness, these are messages. Your body is trying to tell you something, and what it's saying, in many cases, is simply this. Give me what I actually need, not just water, mineralized water, living water, water that can reach my cells and carry what my blood requires to flow freely and strongly. After 60, your body has decades of experience. It's resilient. It's capable. It wants to support you, but it needs the right inputs to do its best work. Start tomorrow morning. 1 large glass of room temperature water, 1 small pinch of unrefined sea salt or Himalayan pink salt, the juice of 1/4 of a fresh lemon. Drink it slowly, before your coffee, before your phone, before the noise of the day begins, and pay attention to what happens. Because what happens next? When you consistently give your aging circulatory system the mineral support it's been quietly asking for, may surprise you in the best possible way. Your body remembers how to feel good. Sometimes it just needs the right reminder. Thank you for watching. If this video helped you, please share it with someone you love who might need to hear it. And if you want to continue learning about the hidden causes behind common aging symptoms and the simple daily habits that address them, then stay connected because there is so much more to share. Take care of yourself. You deserve to feel well.